Today, we're diving into a story that has it all: unbelievable talent, worldwide fame, and a family empire that just completely imploded. This is the story of the Sildarus, Estonia's skiing dynasty, and how it all went so terribly wrong. You know, for years, the Sildaru family looked like the perfect team. You had two skiing prodigies, Kelly and Henry, and their father, Tonis, who coached them and built this global empire from pretty much nothing. They were just an unstoppable force, a real symbol of what you can do with shared ambition. But behind all the shiny gold medals and the cheering crowds, something was breaking. We're going to unpack how this picture-perfect image just shattered, leading to a really public, really painful conflict that threatened to tear the entire family and their legacy apart. Okay, so to really get what happened, we've got to go back to the beginning. We need to understand the miracle of their rise, because this whole skiing dynasty was forged in, well, the most unlikely place you could imagine. It's honestly kind of a paradox. Estonia is flat. I mean, its highest point is just over 300 meters. So how do you create world champion skiers there? Well, their father, Tonis, was an innovator. He turned his kids into YouTube sensations, training them on these tiny local slopes. It forced them to develop this insane technical precision that just blew away athletes who grew up in the huge mountain ranges. And wow, did they rise fast. By 2016, Kelly wasn't just a viral video star. She shocked everyone by becoming the youngest X Games gold medalist in history. Her brother Henry was right there with her, winning his own junior world championship. They went from homemade videos to the Olympic podium. They were on top of the world. And then the story takes a turn, a really sharp one. The family's battles moved from the ski slopes right into the courtroom, and it all played out in the public eye. In 2021, this private family drama just exploded. Kelly went public with some incredibly serious allegations against her father, Tonis. Now, prosecutors eventually dropped the physical abuse charges, saying there wasn't enough evidence, but a huge legal battle over the family's finances is still going on right now. And at the heart of all this, money. A lot of it. The embezzlement case claims that Tonis mishandled more than €1 million of Kelly's prize money and sponsorship deals during her most successful years. So, the battle lines were drawn, and the family split right down the middle. On one side, you have Kelly and her mother, Lillian, who claim years of abuse, and that Kelly was basically just a cash cow. But on the other side, Tonis and his son Henry are saying none of it is true, that these are just malicious games started by Lillian to get revenge after the marriage failed. So you have to wonder, right? With all of this chaos going on, what happened to the two young athletes caught in the middle of this storm? Well, as this family war got deeper, their careers went in completely different directions. On one side, you have Kelly, who now looks back on all that incredible, groundbreaking success not as a victory, but as a time of suffering. She said publicly that it felt less like her dream and more like she was just living out her father's. And then you have Henry. His perspective could not be more different. He's still training with his father, and he describes his own journey as one driven by pure passion. For him, all the hard work, the grind, it's not really work because he just loves the process. And nowhere was this difference more obvious than on the world's biggest stage. At the 2026 Olympics, with all this family drama raging, Henry was resilient. He went out there and soared to a silver medal. But Kelly, well, she struggled, and she didn't even qualify for the finals. The turmoil off the slopes seemed to have a real impact. So you look at this whole mess, and you think, how does a family get to this point? How does it all collapse so painfully? Well, analysts actually have a framework to explain what happens when family, business, and ambition collide this hard. It's a concept called weaponized kinship, and it's a really powerful idea. It's what happens when family bonds, which are supposed to be about love and support, get twisted and turned into weapons. A child is put on a public stage and used as a proxy to fight a parent's battle, usually after a messy divorce. And when you look at the Sildaru case through this lens, a pretty clear and pretty ugly pattern seems to emerge. Observers say it starts with using the courts for public shaming. Then it moves to broadcasting all that private family trauma in the media. And finally, some claim it's even devolved into trying to sabotage a sibling's career with public attacks. Okay, so let's step back for a second. Beyond all the drama and the court filings, what can we actually learn from this story of incredible success and just devastating conflict. What are the real lessons here?
Look, this whole saga is a huge cautionary tale for the world of elite sports. It's a flashing red light about the need for clear financial rules, about the danger of parents living through their kids, and most importantly, about the terrible, permanent damage that's done when kids get used as weapons in their parents' fights.
And that leaves us with one really tough question to think about. When a family works together to build an empire, to achieve something amazing, how do they stop that very success from turning the whole thing into a battlefield? It really makes you wonder what the true price of ambition really is.